Welcome to the Get Back, music work talk in Central Texas, Fridays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by the Austin Federation of Musicians and with the Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee. The Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee are members of the Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, aka the Musicians Union. Some of us work as contractor 1099 workers, and others work as employee W-2 workers in various aspects of the music industry.
The goal of this session is to share our experiences, including trials and tribulations related to the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC, with other musicians in the state of Texas to aid in navigating the TWC application process. We are not experts in unemployment assistance. We are musicians.
The information contained herein does not constitute either legal advice or an official pronouncement or a position of the Austin Federation of Musicians, but rather is only the personal opinions of the panelists. The panelists do not give legal advice or make official rulings on agency matters, should not be cited as authorities in any matter before the agency or when dealing with agency staff about a case, and must minimize their involvement with administrative processes. They also do not give legal advice on any other matter, and any information they should give should not be used as a basis for taking any employment-related action. Before taking any employment action that could adversely affect an employee, or before using any sample form or policy you may obtain from this group, you should consult a licensed, private sector, employment law attorney of your choice. All right, welcome to the Get Back for April 1st, 2022. This is not an April Fool's Day joke. I'm Aaron. This is Russell is joining us here. Hello, Russell. Yeah, man. We always start off mentioning the links down in the show description. That's our usual contact links and everything. And then if you watch the archive version, it'll have the links to the articles that we actually talk about today. So those won't be there if you're watching live, though, but they'll be there. Don't worry, eventually. And we also want you to like and subscribe, of course. We still don't quite have enough subscribers to customize our YouTube channel link to something that makes more sense instead of the 24 random characters that it currently is. So you can help us get there by hitting subscribe, and then you'll know when we put out a new show and everything like that. So, or other video content. You never know what we might do. So, man, let's see what else. Well, I guess we always start with beverages. I'm doing the old tank of coffee again. How about you, Russell?
Spring water.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Drinking a lot of it now.
Yeah. Well, hey, just wait till the weather heats up. We're going to be drinking it even more of it, right?
Right.
It's coming. It's coming. So, yeah, pretty nice weather. Thank goodness.
It's beautiful out there.
Yeah, it's getting a little tiny chilly at night. Maybe. Yeah. But that's cool. Yeah. I'm working outdoors this evening. Hopefully all kinds of work is happening because the levels have been down. The stages have almost been eliminated in Austin now, right? I think they're going to go with the CDC guidelines now. That was announced this week. Yeah.
You're liberated.
Yeah, yeah, we would think.
It's funny. I was out yesterday and people were walking around like nothing ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
I had mine on. I'm thinking, am I being paranoid? Should I take it off of me? But nobody looked at me funny. But
yeah. No, and I think it's okay. I think some folks are still going to be wearing masks if they are immune compromised, or if they live with someone that's immune compromised, even in these spaces where maybe it's not crucial that we do so. But I think we don't want to lose them. We want to keep them around. We might need them again.
Right.
What do you hear about the spring break, the South by Southwest?
Apparently, it went better than they thought, which is why we are where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was the barometer. Depending on how many came back, if there was going to be a ramp up in the illness, and apparently there just wasn't there
Mm-hmm.
because people still went.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Economically, it was a very good deal for our state.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I heard a rumor that one club made like up northwards of $60,000 in one night down there. It's like, oh man. So
actually did really well.
yeah,
So
yeah, man. I'm hearing that there's a little bit of an uptick. Like a week later, they saw a little bit of an uptick from people. Sort of realizing the impact of the spring break and South by, but. We'll see. We haven't seen any changes in the city policies yet. So
yeah,
other
they were
than
kind of waiting to see if stage 4 was coming back. But, the refrigeration trucks are no longer here. So
oh, thank goodness, yeah, right, yeah. So I guess the CDC now is using. They're not using stages. They're using what, like low, medium, and high
3 words, yeah.
infection rates, right? So yeah, so that's now the new language that we need to speak with this. We'll see. Hopefully,
And to qualify for that, you have to actually have it.
Mm.
You can't have symptoms. You got to go get diagnosed and have a test or whatever. You have to actually have COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be, something like allergies. Somebody you have to actually test positive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe that's only time will tell, right? I guess whether that's a step in the right direction or not. I guess, but hopefully we got to move forward either way. We're.
But on the sidebar, Congress did pass money to fund the testing and keep the vaccines going. So there is that.
Okay. When did that go down?
What time was it last night? Maybe the night before. It happened late at night.
Okay.
So I don't know if they did it during the day and it got in the news cycle late. But I think it was the other night that I was watching it. And they only said it once, so I guess it was just have to notice.
Let's see. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, that's it.
I thought it was still stalled out. I'm trying to find something on it.
Yeah, it's there.
Wow.
It's almost like it's not encouraged, which I don't get that. It's one of those midnight bills that they just kind of put through or whatever, but
Fund COVID aid. I mean, they definitely what the second booster got approved, right? Like that's
Yep.
recommended for people over 50 or something like that now.
over 50, but you have to be immune compromised and talk with your doctor. Make sure that you could basically talk yourself into it if you want. That's what they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be that hard to get it if you want it.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll find an article about about that COVID funding, because that's one of the reasons that it's gotten harder to get a test, and so
Yep.
some places just aren't requiring a test anymore because you can't get it if some places you can't get it if you don't have insurance now, and even if you do have it, some people's insurance won't cover a test, unless you actually have symptoms. If you're just getting a test to make sure you're okay to go, do something or whatever, they won't pay for it. You have to have symptoms to actually do
Yeah.
it. Right? Yeah. So, yeah, you got to be a little bit careful with that because you don't want to get that bill for a test because it could be expensive.
There were guys that were selling the test around the way from me, and they had a big sign out there. It was $200.
Mm. Yeah.
But you can run down the street to CVS, get it for free, but
Yeah. Yeah. So,
$200, that's a lot of money.
yeah. Yeah, that's no joke, man. Yeah. So, I'll have to watch out. But that might be cheaper than if you get a test and then you're not billed for it right then, but then later your insurance company decides, oh, we're not going to pay for that, it might be even higher than $200, and yeah. So, it's like, are we like discouraging people to get tests? No, I guess we kind of are.
Yeah. It kind of seems that way, and it's kind of like when we want this economy to get back on its feet and continue to be robust, because it is. They just don't want it to be secular. They just whatever. They just don't want Biden to get any credit for anything. So
right, yeah, yeah. That's definitely an issue, man. Yeah, and that was part of the kind of the holdup with the COVID funding in Congress, right? Was that they wanted to see what accountability, some kind of metrics on where the old funding went to, which it sounds reasonable, except, how much time is that going to take? And
why?
And why, yeah. And is it worth holding up testing if we're going to go into a new surge next month, which some people are saying, I heard this morning that the city of Shanghai is locked down completely, and London was locked down last week, right? So
people hoarding, and there's 1 billion people over there.
Yeah,
That's a lot of hoarding.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we're not out of the woods yet here. It's definitely and we need to keep track of it better than the average person because we have to work in public. Music performance happens in public places, so we need to know, be on top of what's going on and. Not only about what's required to have a public performance, but how to keep ourselves healthy and safe and everything else. And knowing about that booster is another thing. If you're ready to have a booster, I know some people already got it. They just went and asked for it and they gave it to them. So I don't know. As if that funding, if it continues to be low for COVID stuff, it could be more expensive to get the boosters too. If the boosters aren't free at some point, which they still are now. They're free, but in a couple months they might not be free if the new funding doesn't come in. So, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wonder how that would work with the people that are still unvaccinated. That okay, they changed their mind. I want to get it now.
Right.
Well, here's the bill.
And then you might have to pay for it. Yeah, and how much is that going to cost? And yeah, that's no good. So. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I guess our advice would just be to get it as soon as you're eligible for it, to get it, because it might be more expensive later, and you don't want to have to miss work because you got sick. That's
sure.
Yeah.
If ever there was a time to do it, this is it. There was no lines. You could walk in and be out in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Indeed. Well, what's happening? What else is happening in the news here? Kind of the front page of the Statesman is this article about our illustrious Attorney General here, Ken Paxton here. It says complaint against Texas AG unit alleges hostility towards LGBT workers over politicization. And it talks about people working in the Attorney General's office, and some of them are leaving because they feel threatened by this sort of in the article it describes it as LGBTQIA plus OAG unit employees. I think OAG is the Office of Attorney General, but all of the acronym, which is all folks that are different for one reason or another, that are being discriminated against by these policies that that our state keeps enacting somehow, and even the Attorney General's office is like even going overboard to enforce things that aren't even there in some cases. I guess we could talk about that Pride March thing, right?
Yeah.
What was that? You want to tell the viewers what that was about? Do you remember? It
I
was the
saw some of it on the news, and I thought, wow, this is different.
it was
But
the Austin ISD, the Austin School
yeah,
District,
the school district,
did a
and
pride
it
celebration, and they're
kind
being
of pushed
sued.
back to what Paxson is trying to do.
Hmm.
But, well, I mean, he's gone to the extreme with this, and at some point, I mean, I wonder if this wasn't election season would he go this far?
Hmm.
But this is even extreme for him.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Whereas the school district is like, look, we have children, we have workers, we just can't have this.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's bizarre, and that's a concern to us, of course, in the labor movement, as far as employee discrimination.
Sure, I
You
mean,
know.
how do you get to legislate who can work and who can't?
Yeah. And it's even more of a concern to us, in the arts, working in the arts and in all the different arts. We've always been a community that accepts and
Embrace it all.
loves, all those people, and because they're us, that's us, and it always has been, like throughout history.
Yeah, we
Performers
we
have
we
always
embrace all.
that's always been a part of our community as performers. And yeah, the thought that people might be not able to work, or not able to travel to certain parts of Texas or something it's outrageous. So yeah, we got to vote. Everybody's got to vote. It comes back to that every time, right? Yeah. So oh, there it is. It looks so subversive when you bring it in like that.
Yeah, you just gotta keep it handy.
But it's really not. It's just it's just that's the thing that documents you have everything in order. And although you
Yeah,
still need an ID, you still got to
still
have
need your ID.
still got to
Yeah,
have that driver's license, man. Yep.
but I keep mine on my music stand, and I make sure I don't have an excuse not to miss an issue.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, because it's they're not giving us any elections off here. They're
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
pull stuff on every single election. We've got to everybody's got to vote every election, because you never know what can happen. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a prime example of taxes. I mean,
Yeah.
if you shut your eyes on that, I mean, imagine what he'll want tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So the next thing with him is his primary, right? Next month.
Hmm?
Next month now, I think it's in May, right? Is
Yeah,
the
he's
Republican
in a runoff.
primary? Yeah. Yeah. The Republican primary runoff. That's right. Yeah, because we already had the primary, but it's the runoff, and he's one of the people on the runoff. There's a few other candidates there too, of course. And then, but only people that are registered as Republicans can vote in that primary runoff, right? So the next time that everybody gets to vote on that will be in the fall, in November,
Yeah, the
and
general election. Yeah,
that's the
right.
actual election for who's actually going to be the Texas Attorney General. Yeah. So vote. Yeah,
It
man,
matters.
I love how you keep that card right there too. That's so great. That's perfect. But um, gosh, what else was in the news today? Oh, we didn't talk about the Amazon thing yet. Yeah, tell us about the Amazon thing, man.
And I did send you that too.
Cool.
I was watching, and Amazon has voted to establish its first union, and it's in New York, Staten Island,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the warehouse workers that
Mm-hmm.
decided that we're going to unionize, and they haven't got any feedback yet from Jeff Bezos about what he thinks about this or anything, or any of the senior management. But this is going to happen. In other words, people have spoken. The
Yeah.
election's over. They want this. The votes are there,
Yeah.
and it was brought about by an employee that was fired
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for nefarious reasons, and something that a union may have been able to ward that off.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, especially if they were fired for union activities, which
exactly,
really
which is
is
illegal.
illegal in the U.S. But if in order to prosecute that, you have to have a union to do it. And so
Hmm.
now they do. Yeah. And this is what they were trying to do in Alabama last year.
Sure.
And that they lost that election, but then it was found to have been illegal, so they're doing it again. And maybe this will help swell those numbers in Alabama now.
Sure. And something that people need to keep in mind and bring it to their forefront is if you want better wages, the only person or only organization that can negotiate those wages are a union.
Yeah,
That's the only legal body or entity that can collectively bargain for you.
and
I
that's
mean,
that's
one person
because
can
the
walk in
union
there and
that's because the
say, I
union
want a
is
raise.
yeah, and that's because the union is the workers.
Exactly.
That's why that is. Yeah.
So better conditions and you know, it's a big deal.
Hmm.
And they were able to pull that off in that company.
Hmm. Yeah, which has been right off the get go has been extremely anti-union. You know.
27 years,
Yeah.
they've been like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Now it's
now it's
happening. It's
there.
finally
Yeah,
happening. And it was always going to happen. I mean, the way they were operating, there's no way. There's no way unless they just replace the entire workforce with robots, and they can't do that. They can't. They're not. The robots aren't going to be able to do that for another several hundred years.
right.
And by then, maybe none of us will have to work. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah,
You just keep saying, I mean, somebody has to operate the drones.
yeah, yeah,
There will be a need for human beings.
absolutely, yeah,
So
yeah,
the fact that they were able to do this and stand together and
that's what does it.
not be broken up by the anti-union guys that were like, you shouldn't do this, you're going to fire everybody, and la la la. And
Yeah,
stood strong and got it done.
yeah, and it's happening on the other side of things too with Starbucks. That was a
Hmm.
company. That it used to be kind of like, oh yeah, well, we might think about a union if the employees want it, and now they're definitely like, we don't need a union. But now that the employees really are unionizing, and that's happening, across the state. It's Buffalo, New York, I think, started it, and
Hmm.
it's now different places, and a couple of the stores in Austin
Hmm.
are moving towards that direction, which is great. So. Yeah, solidarity. It's the whole labor movement is sort of remobilizing now all across the U.S. Because people are realizing that it just doesn't work. Capitalism really doesn't work without unions because otherwise there's no voice for the
For
workers.
the other party, yeah.
You know.
And you hate to say that, but the pandemic woke up a lot of people.
Hmm.
And they just tell you, just go home and don't worry about it. We'll be fine. But you, on the
Mm.
other hand,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The folks that have the essential workers. They're running around. I mean, the biggest irony I think was probably the EMT workers, the
right,
emergency workers, that didn't even have health insurance, that were forced to keep working, and and directly exposed to sick folks, and they don't even have health insurance. That's outrageous, you know, and they and yeah, I mean, they couldn't figure out why those people keep leaving their jobs. I don't know. They don't even know because there wasn't a union to talk about it.
that's just preposterous that you would send them. Well, there's a plane, go over there,
Mm-hmm.
and we expect you back to work tomorrow.
And buy your own health insurance. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, it's terrible. It's so yeah. I mean, it's a little disappointing that we haven't moved closer to universal coverage. Universal health care. Um, but that just means we got to work harder on it. We all got to vote.
Hmm.
And it's time. We all got to be thinking about that. and which politicians support that, because that, if they don't support that, like, they don't support working people, and if you don't support working people, who do you support? Because there's more working people than there are any other type of people, so yeah.
That's a very true statement.
Mm-hmm.
Support working people. Who do you support?
Who is it? Yeah.
That's a great slogan. You should coin that.
There you go. We'll make T-shirts. There you go.
Yeah, that's a great slogan.
Man. Yeah.
And that has frightened a lot of them, boy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, oh goodness. Yeah. So, geez. Gosh, what else? I mean, that's all I had on my list for this week to talk about. Did you have any other issues we should talk about this week?
No, I can't think of anything else. The city, I checked last night, has not moved anywhere with the rent relief program. It's still up there.
Yeah.
And it's coming. It's not there yet.
Yeah. 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 When hopefully, I mean, of course we know. I mean, in our business, being able to do a little bit more work because the weather's getting nicer.
Yeah.
If you're already having trouble with your rent, that may not help. I mean, that may not make the difference, but it may make a difference. And yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot more performances come up as the weather's gotten nicer, as the COVID numbers are down. Everybody's more comfortable going indoors, so there should be more. I think there is more work indoors as well, because the audiences are comfortable coming out. So now's the time. Seize the day. Book the gig. But use a contract. Use a union contract, for the goodness sakes, because that's the only way we can guarantee we'll get paid. Because otherwise, they know that we're under their thumb. There it is, right there. Oh. So, yeah.
Don't let them lowball you.
Don't let them lowball you. No, man. Yeah, there's no reason to take less than what you were taking before COVID. It needs to be more. I mean, it's something like 14% inflation between the last 2 years or something like that. As far as the cost of living and everything else, yeah, go for more. There's no reason to take less. And if they're offering less, man, hang up the phone. Like, I mean, geez, really, like, seriously, I think that's where we need to be at. Any business that is not operating in that way probably shouldn't be in business, and we shouldn't be helping them stay in business. So
you can't make it that way.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Yeah. All right. Well, you, the viewer, like and subscribe our channel. We're trying to get to where it's easier to find, so we can make that channel name look a little more, like us, like the Austin Federation of Musicians. So, like and subscribe there. That'll help us out. Join a union. We got all kinds of people joining. We had 2 people join today. It was great. So, and because everybody's realizing that this is the voice of the working people. This is how we do it together. It's the only way. It's the only thing that has ever worked is collective action together. So, and we can do it. And we can do it by sharing information and solidarity and keeping it going, keeping the business going. And we have to, because the entire world loves American music, right? I mean, everyone loves American music. We have really a responsibility to the entire world to keep the American music ecosystem going. And this is how we do it. So, yeah. All right, brother. Oh, there's one more thing. There's one more thing. Russell, I hate to put you on the spot, but are we ready to change the outgoing theme song? What do you think?
Oh.
Did you have a chance to even listen to it yet? I sent it to you.
I have.
You have it? Okay, well, we'll wait till next time then.
Okay.
We'll make it the old one.
Okay.
We gotta have the approval of the whole business here. But yeah, so it'll be the old intro or outro music this week. Next week we'll skip next week because I'm going to be out of town. But we'll be back in 2 weeks with the Get Back. Anything else before we go, Russell?
I can't think of anything else.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week on the Get Back.